Damien and Saskia V on Mix 93.8.
So, like I promised, we have Lourens Oberholzer in studio from Retire Rich and Happy. How's it going today, Lourens?
Hey, good on you, Damien.
So, today we're going to be chatting about 4 strategies to pay off your bond in half the time. Now, please share these secrets with us.
Yes.
Bonds are scary things. You end up paying for years.
Yeah, and it's the biggest expense that most people will make in their life, the biggest amount of debt that most people will make. So, it's something that we want to get rid of as quickly as possible, because while you're still paying your bond, it's not your property, it's actually the bank's property, and you're paying them rent to live there. So you want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. Okay, so here's the 4 strategies. Now, the first one is the simple one, the one that most people know, and that is paying a little bit more every month into your bond. So it's very straightforward. You decide on a 200, 500,000 Rand, you pay extra. What the thing is with that is people don't understand the effect that a small amount makes. They think if I can't afford to pay an extra 1,000 Rand, then it's not going to be worthwhile. And even
versus putting in a couple $100.
Exactly. Even 100 Rand makes a difference. On our calculator, I just did the calculation quickly. On a 1.2 million bond, if you put 100 Rand a month extra, you will save 6 months and about 70,000 Rand over the term of your bond from
Just
100
bucks.
100 Rand a month extra.
Wow.
So even if you can only do 50 Rand or 100 Rand, do it, because it makes a huge difference. Okay, so that's the first one. The second strategy is to make annual payments. Most people get a bonus, a tax refund that they're getting, or they're getting some annual payments. If you can commit to make an annual payment once a year, of say 10,000 Rand, or a portion of your 13th check, take half of that, put it into your bond instead of going on holiday, and that will also make a huge difference. Okay, so once a year you do that. So let's say, for example, just to look here at the calculator again, let's say, for example, you can put in 10,000 Rand once a year. So let's have a look at that. Just want to get there quickly. So additional annual payment, let's call it 10,000 Rand. A 10,000 Rand additional annual payment every year on your bond will make a difference of, it will bring it down from 240 months, 20 years, to 199 months. That's 40 months. It's almost 4 years. The savings over the term is almost 500,000 Rand.
So you could save 500,000 Rand by just putting aside 10 grand a year.
10 grand a year is a once-off payment into your bond once a year. Okay.
It's crazy. You don't actually think how much it adds up.
Yeah. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize when they buy their house. On a 1.2 million bond, over 20 years, on a 10.5% interest, you will pay interest of 1.67 million over 20 years. That's more than what you actually bought the house for. So everything you pay extra go off automatically from the capital amount.
Okay.
And that's where you save your interest.
Okay, so you're just trying to shrink that amount as quickly as possible.
As much as possible, as quickly as possible. Yes. Okay. So the third strategy, and this one is probably the most powerful of the 4. And it's something that people don't think about doing. And that is to increase your payment on your bond every year when you get your salary increase. So if you look at everything else in life, your medical aid increases, your water and lights increase, your electricity increase, your everything increases. But we don't increase our bond. We tend to keep it at the same level. So if you go and you say, listen, I'm going to, I get a 6% increase this year, I'm going to take 2% of that 6% and increase it into my bond and increase my payment with 2%. And you do that again over a period, the whole term of the property, a 2% increase per annum. I'm going to show you the difference it makes. So let's say annual percentage increase 2%. That will make a difference of, it will bring down your property value, the term, hold on 1 second, sorry, this calculator now did something. Oh, I put 200% instead of 2%. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2% will bring your term down to 179 months. So from 240, that's
179.
To 179 months. That's a saving of 730,000 Rand over the term. And that is just putting an extra 2% every year onto your bond.
And that's a crazy amount of money. That's almost another 1-bedroom property.
Again, that you could have paid off. And you could have rented that property out and then got the rental income from there. Okay, and then the last one, the fourth one, this is for people that really don't have extra cash flow, but they do want to pay off a little bit. So what you do with that, it's a little bit more involved, but you basically take any money that you have extra and you park it into your access bond instead of leaving it in your savings account, leaving it in a money market account. Or you can go and take your debit orders, move them from the 1st to the 15th of the month. The amount that would have gone off on debit orders, you then put into your access bond for that period of time, and you will save the interest on that. And then at the 15th, you withdraw that money again, and then you just pay your debit orders at that stage. And only because that money is lying in your bond for like 10 or 15 days, you save interest on that over that period. So if you take 15,000 Rand, you put it into your bond for 15 days, you will save about 100, 110 Rand in interest for that month. And we've seen what 100 Rand extra does. It's 40, what did we say, 70,000 Rand saving by just moving money around. So that is for people that really can't afford to pay anything extra, but they're willing to do the little bit of extra admin work and still pay off their bond quicker.
These 4 strategies are really cool because I think it serves a lot of different people. You might have a job where they say, okay, during your birthday period, we're going to pay you a bonus.
Exactly.
And now, cool, I can take a bit of that money.
Yes.
Or at the end of the year, or you get your increase
refund.
or your tax refunds.
Yes.
Would you like to attempt this question that we got in earlier?
Okay. Before we get there, just quickly. So what you want to do is you actually want to use as many of those 4 strategies as possible because they build momentum. The one.
So you don't have to use one at a time.
You can do all 4. If you can do all 4, you have that momentum building that you get. All right.
Wow. So we still got Lourens Oberholzer in studio with us from Retire Rich and Happy, and we're answering some questions. So we got one in that said, should I rather pay off my bond before I start saving for retirement? So I suppose that's quite a tricky one.
Yes, and it's a very good question. So it's one that I get quite often. So in theory, if you are in your early or late 20s and you decide, listen, I'm going to pay off my bond first, take all the money that I was paying on my bond and then start investing it, and you do the maths, you should get out at a better end value than you would if you did it the other way around. But that's in theory. In practice, it doesn't work, and that's that I've seen over with experience. So what happens in practice is you want to do it, so you pay all that money you don't save. You pay all that money into your bond. Then when you get into your 30s, you have your second child. You've now paid off half your house, and then the wife says, listen, we need to buy a bigger house because it's too small now. So then what do is you buy a bigger house, you put all that money in the bond, and you start paying it off again. So by the time you're in your 40s, you only get your house paid off, and then it's too late to start saving for retirement. So yes, in theory, it could be a good idea, but in practice,
in a perfect world,
very, very seldom works. So I don't always suggest that to clients. I'll say, it's not an either or. It's a combined strategy between the two. Focus on paying off your bonds sooner, but put money away for retirement savings as well.
Okay, fantastic. So this one's a bit longer. I don't think we can get completely into it. No. Let's try and scratch the surface. It says, hi guys, it's all good and well letting strategies to pay off a bond quicker, but with the government's proposed constitutional amendments potentially affecting personal property rights, would it be wise to enter into the real estate market now?
Yes.
Especially if one's already vested in property and you need to consider an exit strategy, and what would the effects be if the government did force a mass offload of property due to their attempts to relieve title holders of their property rights?
Okay, geez, there's like 15,
a mouthful.
15 questions in one. Okay, so it's going to be there's not going to be enough time to go into depth into that whole thing. So is it Warren?
Yes, it was Warren.
So Warren, please contact us if you want to discuss it a little bit further. They can send us an email to info@retirehappy. Telephone number 087-809-0603. But I'll quickly touch on it. The first thing is a lot of people are uncertain and scared about what's happening with property rights.
Yeah.
So the first thing people need to understand is it's still going to take years before they get there. They're only starting with the discussions around the expropriation without compensation. It's going to take at least a year before those discussions are finished. Then it's first going to go through
all the committees.
Then it's going to be at least 5 years before anything gets changed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Secondly, the government is focusing on agriculture agricultural rand, not so much privately owned property, etc., etc. So I think we're a little bit, it's too early to start becoming scared and selling off properties, etc., etc. So I would still continue with investing in property. It still stays one of the best investments, but there's more to it, which I would like to discuss in more detail, but we don't have enough time for that.
For sure. So if you'd like to contact Lourens Oberholzer from Retire Rich and Happy, you can do two things. You can call him on 087-809-0603 or simply SMS 33903. You send the word RRH and your name and they'll get back to you. And then the email address again?
It's info@retirehappy.co.za.
Perfect. Lourens, thank you so much. We'll chat to you again soon.
Yes, we'll chat again. Cheers.
That was Lourens Oberholzer from Retire Rich and Happy, chatting 4 strategies to pay off your bond in half the amount of time.
Damien and Saskia V on Mix 93.8.